And that's what I always said made me a gangster. What made me a gangster is not that I'm a killer, or I'm a thug, or I'm the toughest dude out there. What made me a gangster was in a environment surrounded with gangsters, I stayed who I was.
Oh my God, what a great way to start out. We're leaving that in the opening.
Oh wait, do I need to use? I don't need those.
Nah, fuck those things. We're just gonna bullshit. We don't need that for this. This is a series I'm calling
Official.
You Got the Light with Matthew Richardson. That's because that is my real last name. And as you know, in comedy, or if you don't know, the light means time to get the fuck off stage and get back to reality. And nobody I know cringes and hates seeing that fucking light more than my guest today. I've seen G on stage for an hour and get the light and be like, man, I was just getting into it. You know, this man, he's going to be the first one to have a 3-hour special. It's going to be like the 10 Commandments, you know, and it's going to be funny the whole way through. Not like those other bullshit fucking Dane Cook and Dave Chappelle's things that ramble on. You're actually going to be fucking doing material for 3 hours.
I ramble and hope there's material in it.
Well, it's my honor, my privilege to be interviewing a man today. He's not just a comedian, I would say a poet, philosopher, lover of words and life. He's a dancer, a singer, a designer, and a prophet. I've seen him compared to a range of people that goes from Socrates to Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine to Tupac Shakur. And after getting to know him over the past few years, I would say that I understand why he gets those comparisons, and they are all fair and legitimate. It's my privilege to have Mr. Gary G. Put your G's up, Garcia. And my first question is, does the G in Gary G Garcia stand for anything?
Gangster. Nah.
What do you stand for, G?
It doesn't stand.
Say it right now. What do you stand for?
I stand.
You stand for my comedy, and you clap, right?
Yeah. Nah. The G is just because growing up everybody called me G, and then when I started doing comedy, I went by G. But then everybody started taking the G. It was like Big G, Little G, something G, this one G. So
you added the G.
I went by my government name, which is Gary Garcia, but everybody calls me G.
So you don't have a middle name.
This Gary G Garcia.
On your license, it's just Gary Garcia?
Gary Garcia. Yeah. You learned something
off to a great start, right away.
Right away, you just learned the secret that I don't
tell
many
where Bridgestone
people.
came from?
Bridgestone, I don't know.
I was doing this. My boy Kyle, who I'm still friends with to this day, he's a drug counselor that used to be an addict. Amazing man. He was at I don't think you were there, the roast at Anthem with Zach for our 40th.
I missed it.
He came in from Ohio, and he was the funniest person at the fucking roast. Anyway, that's time when we were in Rascals in North Jersey, legendary club that got shut down because the owner did coke or something like that. Surprise, North Jersey. Well, anyway.
That's no reason to shut down a club. I thought all club owners did coke.
I guess he did coke and, didn't do the bills. But
oh, there you go. That's what happened. Yeah. He did too much coke.
Something. Right. Anyway, he called and said, after a week of knowing me, we're putting together a show, and it's going to be me and Matt. And they were like, Matt? He was like, yeah, Matt. He's a comedian. I was like, who, Matt who? And he just didn't know my last name. He was like, Matt, what the fuck? I don't know. And he said he thought of a tire. So it was supposed to be me and my other friend Jeremy also. And he said that it was Jeremy Dunlop and Matt Bridgestone because he thought of tires, and just fucking everyone just started calling
Did he keep the name Dunlop?
Dunlop did it a few times, was an amazing comic. Actually, a kid I went to high school with, Jeremy Levine. He went on a birthright trip to Israel and just never came back. But he was dope, man. Deep ass kid, opened my eyes up to a lot of stuff with art and philosophy. Went to Pratt Institute, and I think if Jeremy had gone a different path in life, he could have been one of the greatest comics I ever saw. But he found the Torah, and that was it. Shalom.
And what? He
peace
became a
and
moil?
Goodbye. What's that?
He became a moil? Now he's chopping fucking penis heads.
I don't know, man. He always was like into the. Yeah, I should have seen it coming because in high school he always was like, if we would drive down to Lakewood, he'd be like, "Yo, I want to bang one of those like Hasidic girls." He's like, I think like the long skirts and stuff is hot. I'll tell you, man. I might get shot for this, but those Hasidic girls are cute, man.
You know what's so funny, man? I was just thinking about that the
Like
other
the
day.
dudes are not?
Like it's funny that you
Like-
bring that up because I was thinking the other day how like everybody sexualizes. You know, like Spanish people, black people of color get sexualized. Like we're all about sex. But you never see Jews sexualized.
Right.
Why not? They walk around with like 8 kids, 9 kids. They got more kids than most Puerto Ricans I know, but yet you don't sexualize them.
Whoa.
There's something going on between those
Hold on,
sheets,
hold on.
dog. Something's going on,
Oh my God.
right? Am I bugging out? Or don't?
You're always
I
bugging
don't know.
out, man.
Maybe they don't have a lot of kids. I just see them with a lot of kids.
So you
So
see,
maybe it's the same kids.
I'll tell you where you see a lot of both Hasidics and Puerto Ricans is in Queens, New York, where Gary G Garcia
You don't
hails
see
from.
Hasids in Queens.
I'm trying to move the fucking
All right, go ahead.
conversation
Yeah,
along.
man.
Gee,
Yeah, man.
how long
I
are we
told
gonna-
you to control it, dude.
How long are we gonna, talk about Jews?
You brought it up.
Dude, he said in your neighborhood you walk around like, "What's up, Joshua?" Right? On
No, that
Fridays?
was when I lived in Jewel Avenue. That was all Hasidics. Not
lived-
one damn freaking out. Not one
Jewel
liquor
Avenue.
store.
You lived in a Jewish neighborhood called Jewel.
Jewel
Oh my
Avenue. Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
that's
Wow. All right. Yeah, look at that. I didn't even realize that.
unbelievable.
Dum-dum. Tss.
Oh man.
Yeah, I lived on top of some Hasidics.
Do you?
And he used to beat his wife. She took
Oh.
it like a trooper though, man. Like she didn't even like back down, man. Actually, I don't know if he was beating her or she was beating him. It's
don't
very
know.
hard to tell.
If
'cause
she really took it like a trooper, she would
no
start.
one really yelled. You would just
Ready
hear
for
the
this
banging.
one? If she really took it like a trooper, she would probably start beating black people. Trooper? All right. Moving on. Listen. That's a joke, guys. Fucking relax.
I think that what you meant to say, that was supposed to be a joke.
Can we edit that out? Can we
Nah,
edit
don't
that
edit
out?
that out, baby.
All right. I'm gonna give you getting pulled over all over the place now. Fucking funny, Bridgestone.
All right, baby. What do you want to ask?
You have many words. Do you know what your first ones were?
My first words?
Yeah, you ever be told that by folks around you? Your parents,
No, I
peers,
was-
You know?
I was not told that. In fact, like my mom's always tells the story when her friends, because my moms don't like that I do comedy, but when her friends get excited that I do comedy, then she'll brag about me. And one of the things she always says is, when Gary was growing up, he didn't talk in words. He would talk full sentences. When words came out of his mouth, they were full sentences.
That's beautiful, man. It makes sense
know.
if you know you.
Yeah.
You just started
That's what-
talking.
I didn't know that.
You didn't get into talking. You just
Nah,
were
just
talking.
when I had something to say, I said it finally.
That right there is a little taste of who G is, man. He was just talking right out the gate once he started. One of the coolest things you said to me recently was you went to a show, met a girl who said you were her favorite, and tell it better than me, please, because this was amazing.
What was that?
The girl who told her dad about you,
Oh, I did your show. I was over at Fox.
right?
And no. I was in Comedy Cove with Buddha, actually. And I did a show there and I was messing with this one dude because he looked like a cop. And then I get inboxed the next day from this girl who came to see me in Atlantic City. And she said, my father went to the Cove the other night and he was telling me about the funniest Puerto Rican kid that he's ever seen, how he was messing with him,
Still
calling him a
gets
cop.
kid. Love it. Go
Isn't that
ahead.
crazy? Yeah. And she goes, and I started telling her about the funniest comedian I ever saw in Atlantic City, and we were both talking about you. Yeah, I cried a little.
Dude, I started to cry when you told me
cried a
that.
little.
You made me cry twice that day. What was the second thing you told me? You told me something else that was just like moving. I don't even know, man.
I say a lot of things.
God damn.
I forget a lot of things.
We try to capture them with these kinds of things because,
I forget a lot of things.
your brain is just faster than your mouth.
That was cool.
You
I get
know?
stuff like that all the time, which is why I love, so much connecting with the with the fans, because I remember I did a show with what's his name, man? The one that called himself or whatever. I did a show and it was in a bar. And they had a service window where people were ordering food, and I was sitting there. I was supposed to headline, and everybody was talking, because the bar was right next to where the people were watching the comedy show. So everyone at the bar was like overpowering, And the dude calls me because, yo, G, I'm sorry, man. You know, I didn't realize it was going to be this rowdy where the bar is. And I said, nah, dude, my job is to go up there and try to shut everybody up. In fact, I'm going to try to shut up the fucking kitchen. I said, I want to make people stop ordering when I go up there. And I went up, did my thing, great set. Next day I get inboxed. I'm the chef from the club you were in last night. We all stopped working just to watch your set. And I actually took a picture of that shit, man, because I was like, success.
I'll tell you, man.
It's great when you set out to do something and you achieve it. It doesn't always happen.
That reminded me of a time when we were doing the Chelsea Beach Bar show out this summer on the bar where we couldn't curse and all that. I think Rich Voss was coming down, and it was before the show, and there were people still talking at the bar and seats around and this and that. And Merck was like, we got to kick these people out and change this around and this and that. And I said, Merck, we got a time limit here. The best thing that we could do right now is just go up and be fucking funny.
That's it.
And then that'll all take care of itself. And he was like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. And we crushed it, and it didn't matter where people were.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, man. If you get their attention and you're saying something that is interesting, people are going to listen. I get upset when comics get mad that like no one's listening. My attitude is always say something they want to listen to.
Right.
You know, I mean, sometimes it's the crowd, but 99% of the time,
it's cracking a code. It's reading what's going on with that crowd. And then, you know, like last night we went and did an open mic, but it was all comics. So you got to play that completely differently. Like I went off a little more like offbeat and shit like that. Cause you know, they're seeing it all, that shit. But
I don't know. I'm full of myself, man. That's what it is. I'm full of myself. So even in an open mic, I feel like if I go up there and I got something good, everyone's going to stop and listen. You know, because comedians,
you're a comics
comedians
too,
are fans of comedy. I mean, you know, there comes a point where, like, you know, you're kind of less of a fan of comedy.
If you guys don't know, a comic is one that comics love to watch. You know, a lot of comics will think some comedians are great, like, but they're not going to come in from the other room to check it out. But you know, that's the kind of shit you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean.
So first words we did, what are some of your, do you remember the very first or some of your first memories?
Yeah, I mean, my first memories, I remember playing with my brother and my 3 cousins. We used to play Blind Man's Bluff, where we blindfold one of us and spin us around and have him like search for us around the apartment with the blindfold on. And then when he grabbed you, he had to take the mask off, but you were allowed to like fight him and try to get away before he gets the blindfold off.
Starts out rough in Queens right out of the gate, man, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
then we played we had a game called Ravioli.
Oh, shit.
We would go to the top bunk and then pull the other mattress out a little bit. And then you just wrap yourself up with a couple of pillows and roll off with a blanket around. Yeah, we almost killed ourselves every day. That's how you did it.
I used to live with Willow and when she was born in this area where it was all Guatemalans and me, Jackie, and Willow. But they were the sweetest people, and there was never problems there. But it was all we could. It was like, you know, $900 a month for like all of us, so it worked. But I would come outside one day and Willow was playing with all these Guatemalan kids, and this one girl was like 12, but she was like the leader of the tallest girl, a little bit thicker, and she had this like stick in her hand, and I see all the kids like doing push-ups and listening and jumping jacks, and like I'm just, what are you playing? She goes, it's called juvie. These kids are all in juvenile detention right now.
That's great.
And then I had like maybe a few singles on me, so I played games where I made the kids like do like races and shit, and I was breaking them off like all like $1. And you know what? Even these little Dominican kids were like, really $1? Like that's how times have changed, you know? It's crazy.
Yeah. But I feel like I grew up in the last real great. Everyone says it, but I feel like I grew up in the last great generation because we were on the cusp of all the technology coming in. You know, like I still know how to use technology. I'm not intimidated by technology.
Yeah.
But I remember before that shit. You know, I remember being just me and my cousin. We had to be like 7, 8, running around by ourselves all freaking day. You know, our big thing was going to Roosevelt Island because you had to go over this bridge to get to Roosevelt Island. And that was like the big thing. Like, yo.
I feel in a sense lucky. I mean,
you went to Roosevelt Island.
Yeah, like you're 8 years older than me, but you know, both New York guys. I mean, I feel like I caught the tail end of like stickball in the streets and like just like the block parties
Fights.
and like just when there was only a few channels on TV and people got out and played together and mixed
it up.
And
the projects was like a crazy wonderland to me, man.
Mm-hmm.
But it was scary because I was little. I got picked on a lot, so it was always very scary. It was always, when I went out, it was always like, I guess nowadays you would say anxiety. Back then it was just scary, like you go out and you hope nobody fucks with you. You hope, you with your friend. Like, I mean, we used to go into abandoned buildings and almost kill ourselves. It's crazy when I think about shit. Like, I won't go into an abandoned building now. Crazy. Let's go into this abandoned building. What are you, fucking nuts? But back then,
speaking of killing yourself, I don't know that you've ever told me anything like you're suicidal, but you've described yourself at a point where you were the angry young man, right? This is probably when you're about...
Yeah, I was never suicidal. I thought about killing other people.
Right.
And I knew that if I did it, it was going to fuck up my life, But yeah, like I never really thought about... I've had feelings of wanting to be dead, like wishing like, I just didn't wake up. You know what I'm saying? But never
didn't
like
want to actually do the thing.
Never even into my mind taking my own life. Like even when I thought about like, I'd say the worst thing I've ever thought was killing my family. That's when I knew it was time to get divorced.
Well, who hasn't done that?
Nah, I mean really thought.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
I mean when you're sitting outside smoking a blunt by a tree going, I could bury her right here and it would take him at least 5 or 6 years to find her.
I think Chris Rock says you don't love someone unless at some point you thought about killing them.
So at that point, that's when I knew I had to get out because I was having serious thoughts of killing everybody. Wasn't thinking right. I mean, I'm no
psychiatrist, but from what you've told me about me, the conundrum with you is that you're an artist soul, and you grew up in a spot where telling people that you're into things like poetry or choreography or things like that could be a rough thing. It could be harder than coming out and saying you're gay sometimes. I mean, people are just like fuck with you and be like, oh, what's up, happy feet, and you're already 5'4", named G. So now, but you know what's cool about you is you walk tall, but you don't have a Napoleon complex. You're not like you're not like on that shit. Don't fuck with me. This is that. Like you're confident. You think you're a legend, and you are in the making for sure. You're not there yet, but you're a legend, to us. But
you're not a legend until they make the documentary.
You're a legend to other people in the sense that they've never seen you. So I don't know if there was really a question there, but
my boy Mark said to me once, he goes, you know why you got picked on a lot? And my boy Mark's to this day my best friend since first grade. He was always kind of like my protector, but not even trying to be. He was just always a cool dude. So when people would be fucking with me, eventually he'd be like, yo, just leave G alone, And he says, you know what, G? You know why you got picked on a lot? Because you took dancing. You decided to do dancing and get all into the arts. And I got into fighting. I took kung fu and jiu-jitsu and all that shit. And I said, nah, I get that, dog. But the truth is, you're my best friend, right? He goes, yeah. I go, well, when I go out with you, are you going to let anybody fuck with me? And he goes, hell no. I said, so when I go out with you, automatically I'm a better fighter. But I can't make you a better dancer. So I think I made the right choice. You know what I'm saying? I can't make him a better dancer, man. That's how it was too. We go to clubs, and back when breakdancing was in, none of my boys could dance. They were all just fighters. So we go to clubs, and they would throw me into circles, and I'd have to battle like whole crews. And these dudes were amazing, and I was just kind of better than my boys.
See, I'm trying to picture how much G could actually get like bullied. I mean, it seems like you just bucked up. I mean, do you feel like I got bullied. I got bullied, but I always fought. Right. But I always lost. Me too. You know what I'm saying? But I always fought. I mean, it would always be you'd have to push me. But then eventually, once my back hits that corner, then I turn around and I fight. I lost a lot of fights. I would snap in embarrassing ways. Like, someone would be fucking with me in school and I'd just be like, don't fuck with me, man. Or like I took a volleyball one time and tried to throw it at a kid that was fucking with me, and it went into the net and sprung back and fucking hit me in the face. And but I tried.
Dude,
I
just bullied yourself.
I did, but I was out there. At least I wasn't just taking it. I mean, just
I always fought, man. And I remember one time I had this one bully. I'm not even gonna say his name because we cool now. But I had this one bully. He was like probably my longest bully. And my mom's got so tired of it. She went to his house. She knocked on the door. She told the mother, "Listen, your son is bigger than my son, but you're not bigger than me. So if your son puts his hands on my son again, I'm coming here and I'm gonna kick the shit out of you." And in Ravenswood, parents fought all the time. Like people would watch parents fight.
Does this bully's name end in an O? Because I think you've talked.
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. No, that's not Roscoe.
You said it,
I don't even like to say
Roscoe. Rest in peace.
Roscoe dead now, but I feel like I still get bullied by him
from
in the
different
spiritual
strokes,
form.
man. What's the most fucked up thing Roscoe ever did to bully somebody?
I saw him one time.
We should make a movie called Roscoe.
He sent a grown man to go get him batteries. He asked for 4D batteries for his boombox. And the dude came back with C's. And I saw him knock him out. He punched him dead in the face, knocked him out, then woke him up and told him go back to the store and get me my D-cell batteries. And the dude did. That's just one that I remember. He did a lot of crazy shit, man.
I mean, you've talked to me time and time again
the
about
epitome of what a bully should look like, and
he just had it.
Yeah, he was.
He's got to be one of the characters when we write the liquor license movie. But I
ran into him actually before he passed away on the train, man. And I ain't gonna lie. Did
he call you a dick and flick you in the ears?
We actually had a crazy conversation.
Did he book check you?
We had a crazy conversation. The dude actually had a very, very rough life.
Yeah.
After I stopped being in the neighborhood, but we had a conversation. But it's funny, when I first saw him, I instantly became like, 16.
It all came
again,
back?
16 again. And I was like, oh my God, I hope he don't lift his head up. And then he's like, "Yo, G."
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
Not so sure this is.
But the other dude, once I saw my mother do that, then I would see him and I would try to start fights. I would say shit to try to make him come at me so that my mother would go to his house and beat his mom's ass.
Well, you've told me about the bullies, but you've also told me that some of the funniest motherfuckers in the world were in your neighborhood too, and that you weren't even close to the funniest, according to you.
I got honorable mention.
Who stood out, man? What the hell were they so funny? What were they doing? How'd they do it?
I honestly
did you learn from them?
Like even when I grew up with my brother Ivan, my cousin George, Peter, and their sister Denise, and they were all hysterical. Like, I'm not the funniest one out of them, And then in the neighborhood, I don't even, everyone was just funny. I mean, that's the way you got to be. You got to be quick with your mouth and shit like that. But I was funny enough because...
You hung.
I was funny enough because I made it through. You know what I'm saying? And then once I was no longer getting bullied, I actually became the dude who does... I mean, you see me, I'm a little bully. I bully people bigger.
You bully me a lot.
Yeah, I bully you. I'm a little bully now.
I moved one chair the other day and he was like, "Fucking Bridgestone doesn't know what he's doing. He's messing me all up. I was here all day. He does whatever he wants."
Yeah, I hate that.
When's the maddest you ever were at me in your life?
Maddest to you?
Besides the chair incident, maybe that was it.
That was probably. I don't remember having a lot of beefs with you, man. I mean, the money's always.
I think you get mad at me just for like
right now.
The way I dress and that my car is messy. You get mad at me for that shit.
I get mad at you for things to try to make you a better person. But like me personally being mad at you, like a person should be able to get in any door of your car. You shouldn't pull up and be like, "Get in on the other side."
All right, we're gonna move on. You got the light. Here we go. Remember? The name of the show. I know. I got things I got to work on, man. Too. We all do.
How you carry yourself says a lot.
I agree, and you've. I know all the things you tell me, but you like remind me. You're a coach.
Listen, people think it always says a lot about who you are. It doesn't say a lot about who you are, how you carry yourself. It says a lot about how you feel about yourself.
I agree with that.
For me to know I'm in a depression, I just got to go to my house. If I see 2 pairs of socks in the living room, my bed's not made, the couch looks like shit, and there's a bunch of dishes in my sink, I know I'm kind of depressed right now.
Yeah.
Because I don't keep my shit like that.
I hear you on that. And I appreciate you always looking out for me and having the balls and love for me to tell me when to fucking tighten up on shit and stand up straight. That's that street shit that you bring. I mean, that's what my grandma used to tell me. So it's all good. And I love you for it. And I need it a lot.
It's not like I got my shit together, dog.
We all
it just looks better. Not like I got my shit together, man.
You are fucked up in all your own ways too.
50 years old and I still party, dog. I don't take care of myself or nothing, so it's not like I got my. I mean, you could probably. Well, I was about to say you could probably tell me a better way to eat, but nah, you can't. I don't think you're munching on too much kale yourself, motherfucker. So what are you gonna do?
Now, this is one where we could go down a rabbit hole and stay there for probably 3 hours just on this. Man, but I'm going to say 4 words.
4 words.
And I just want you to tell me the first 5th word that pops into your head.
Okay.
The words are smoking suckers with logic. What's the next word that pops into your head after those 4?
Oh, man. Just one word?
You said just.
Smoking suckers with logic. What's the word that pops into my head? Well, it's 2 words. Lost opportunity.
We'll put it as a hyphenated.
Yeah.
Lost opportunity.
Yeah. But we were young. I mean, what are you going to do? But, it was fun, though.
How long were you doing that? This was G's band that he was the lead singer of and had the dreads. Like
Smoking Suckers with Logic was formed in 1990. Did our first show in the ending of 90. 91 we started playing. We did our first show. We were signed at the end of 91 and our first album was out in 92. So we could have been contenders.
KRS-One was repping.
KRS-One was helping us out in the beginning.
You're still friends with his brother to this day, right? That's crazy.
I would hope if I see any of them, I would hope that they still remember who I am.
So how'd KRS-One get involved?
Everything always falls into my lap, just like you did. You guys fell into my lap.
And those strippers too that time.
Yeah, but no, that's what happens. Like if it's I just open doors that come my way because the reality was when I dropped out of school, my mother was real quick to say, "Listen, you're not just going to be home, smoking weed all day." And she was telling me this on the phone while I was watching TV, smoking weed on my bed. And she was like, "You got to go back to school." And then I saw this commercial that was like, "Have you ever thought about doing music?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Were people hearing you at the time? Because I've heard the lyrics to your song and you're going in on some shit. Like, would they get it, know it? And like, you had your fans that were like into that, or was it just like good fucking bah, 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 bah,
I think my shit is universal to anybody. I mean, it might be personal feelings, but I'm pretty sure anyone could take it and put a different name there. I mean, it's always just like if you were to listen to all my music, you'd actually know my life. You would see my life right there because it's all just what I was going through. But it's crazy because like I said, I went like I saw the commercial, I went to that school. When I graduated that school, they put me in Power Play Studios, which was like 4 blocks from my house. I was still able to hustle and do some work, and I met KRS in Power Play Studios, and that's also where I met my band. And we hit it off. I was assistant engineer there. I don't even think I even made it past being an intern, to be honest.
I would say when you said lost opportunity, is there like one key thing that stood out as the Achilles heel? Like, was it a combination of things, or was there just like we couldn't get past this?
We were blown up in our heads before we ever sold one album.
You thought
we were rock stars, like me right now. Like what I want to tell you, I'm a rock star. So we were rock stars before we.
You were cashing a check that wasn't
there yet. Yeah, I mean that's what happens. We were 23.
Right.
Give us $800,000 with no guidance, and I think the biggest turning point was when we couldn't get into Canada. When we got kicked out of Canada, that was a big thing because we had a bunch of big shows.
So if you're paying attention, Gary G has been kicked out of Canada and Bally's Casino. That's fact.
Numerous house parties.
Everyone knows the Bally story. I don't know if we even start going down that road, but basically G knocked out a dude like it was Mike Tyson's Punch Out one night, and he was Lil Mac, but that's a whole nother thing.
I got lucky, man. I'm not trying. I'm no fighter, people.
It all started because some chick was messing with me, poured a beer on my head, and G poured one on hers, which was one of my.
We're not gonna talk.
It's my favorite thing he ever did. It's as Frank Sinatra as you get without smashing a glass over someone's head. It was like a safer version of that.
It was me and my son are actually trying to write a movie about that night.
It was ridiculous. You would have got away if you didn't. If you ran for the.
If I stood on cement.
They ran for the sand and they got stuck in it, man. You know, they should have ran for the street. They'd have been gone.
I could have got away, man. But you know what it is too,
you
man.
moved good for what, 48 at the time, maybe?
I was 48. Yeah, wow, man. I've been here too long. I was 48, man. Shit. Time flies by, man.
It's amazing. I remember meeting you. I remember walking into Grisly Pear, seeing you up there screaming and shit. You were hosting, so I was just like, he seems nice, but I don't know what he's doing. But then, you know, when you first came down and started like really doing your shit, and when I said you put the pour in Puerto Rican, that's when we were off to the races.
Yeah, nah, man, we hit it off good.
Yeah.
It's like I said, you guys fell in my lap, man. When I started doing this, I remember Jim Mendrinos told me, you know, the prize goes to the one who gets the most time.
Mm-hmm. This is why I love you, G, because right now
I said I don't have time. You know what I'm saying? I'm 40. I think I was 42 at the time. And then you guys brought me out here, man. I was fighting for 5 minutes, 7 minutes a night. Hopefully three nights a week. Hopefully, I went from doing 21 minutes a week to doing
an average of 21 a night, if not more.
When we had all the clubs, I was doing an hour and a half a night.
Man,
we had all the clubs open.
G, this is why I love G.
On a Monday, hour and a half.
We've had the conversation of how he is. People say literally a lot these days, and they literally don't know what the fuck literally means. But G literally, I believe, is doing more stage time than possibly any other comic in the world. If not, it's pretty damn close. And right behind him would be like Buddha, me, Merc, but maybe edges out a little bit on that. And
doing a lot of time,
and he still bitches that it's not enough.
I don't get enough time.
He still bitches about it.
Yeah.
Nobody has more in the world, and it's not enough.
I prefer the word complain.
Look, this is the man that, you know, his mom said it. His mom said it. Once he opened his mouth, it just started running, you know? It just started running.
Yeah, man, I like to use the word complain, man. I don't bitch about anything. I complain about things every now. Nah, I think bitch is better. Go with bitch.
The thing is, for you, there can never be enough stage time, man. You know, that's where you're just at home, it seems like.
It is, bro. It heals me, dog.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally heals me. I've gone up there with kidney stones, come off, don't feel them. I've gone up there with no voice, and then when I get on the stage, the voice is there.
Yeah, it's like those churches that you go to and they start walking, right?
It's all about faith, dog. I believe the stage heals me, so it does. I have the faith in the stage and being there that if I'm there, I'm supposed to perform. Nothing's going to stop me from doing it. It's the faith. That's why, you know about your boy Jesus. He didn't heal nobody in his hometown because they didn't have the faith. They didn't believe in him. You know, it's all about the faith. Even when he healed someone, what he say? Your faith has healed you. He wasn't like, bang, look what I did. You saw me heal this motherfucker right here? No, he was like, go, your faith healed you. It's because they believed it. So I believe in this. It's where I love to be.
It's the reason, like, people from where you're from have a hard time understanding, like, if someone gets famous or if it's like weird to them because they knew them, you know, as like,
yeah, exactly,
kid or whatever. I mean, you said
never forget the bad
when you're writing your music, you also have written on your birthday. I read one of them on stage, just poetry about where you're from, the street. I mean, it's just life. When did you start doing that?
That was when, all that stuff I wrote is what saved my life, saved my family's life. And it's the reason I'm not in jail, because
put your anger into the paper.
It wasn't even anger. I'm a writer. And I tell my son this all the time, man. When you're an artist, you have there's a certain thing, a blessing that you have that other people don't have. You have an outlet that certain people don't have. And for me, it was writing. So I would just go downstairs. I wouldn't even think. I would just write. I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. I was just writing. And then when I felt like I was done writing and I felt a little relaxed, I would go back and read what I wrote. And it was blowing my mind. And I would call up one of my boys and be like, listen, I know this shit sound corny, but I want you to hear something I wrote real quick. And they'd be like, yo, dude, that's poetry. And I was like, yeah. I'm writing fucking poetry? And he's like, yeah, dude, that's poetry. And then I met someone else who was into writing. He goes, yeah, well, you're doing it's called freehand. You just write.
I think we could talk about it forever. I mean, could you pull up the thing I read on your, do you know where that is? Would you have that in your phone? Would you look for it?
Yeah, I got it somewhere.
Is that not something you want to do?
No, I don't care. That's all the stuff that, that saved my life. I was able to write about my, what I was going through and get it out. Everybody don't get to do that.
I think you should read them all, get together with Licata and like put it on an audio track, because hearing it from your voice could be amazing.
It's hard for me to read them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I read them, but it's hard for me to read them without getting choked up, because I remember so much where it came from and where I was at that time. It was a dark place, man. But in a way, it also helped me to...
it's uplifting shit. It's interesting that you were able to write uplifting stuff from a dark place, not like, I'm going to fucking kill myself kind of poetry.
Well, that's always been my thing. Even the name of the band, Smoking Suckers with Logic. To smoke someone is to kill someone. And the way I looked at it was, when people like bully me or did stuff to me, I'm going to put it in a song. That song's going to blow up. You're going to hear that song playing in your car. You're going to realize you were the inspiration for that car, for that song, while you're driving to Walmart and you're watching my videos. So instead of killing you, I'm just going to let you live and let you deal with the fact that I'm blowing up all around you.
G snapped on me hard the other night at Chickies and Pete's, and basically what I think he's going through is, when you give of yourself and try to cheer so many others up, it's draining, but he's always willing to do it at his own sacrifice. He's always trying to cheer people up and make them, just appreciate life more, man. It's
tough.
That's always his goal. He doesn't always get there, and sometimes
I've learned that it's a whole thing of energy, man, and it's not just for them too. It's for me, because if you're with all that energy and you're sucking all that energy, you're sucking my energy too. And we could either be a blessing or a curse to ourselves and to everyone around us. So it's a matter of, we choose how. That's the only control we have in life, is how we react to things and how we let it affect us. So at the end of the day, I got a great, at the end of the day, I do comedy for a fucking living. In the middle of a pandemic, I get to go up every fucking night.
Next time you yell at me, I'm going to play recordings of that phrase right there. I'm going to set it. And just
you should.
Listen to this, man.
No, you should.
It's funny because me and him were going off about chairs, and he was like, you don't even know how to fucking see people. And I was like, what? You're crazy, man. I'm the best. Mark was just like, well, you both are great in your own ways. And I'm just like, what the fuck are we talking about right now? Like, why are we trying to just like write a movie or, go get something to eat? Like, it's just crazy when you're in the thick of it. But I hope everyone...
man, it's just...
I want to have a meeting just about appreciating, what the fuck is going on right now, because it's cool. Oh, man. Any luck pulling some stuff up? This is something that he read to me once, and then it was his birthday.
Nah, they don't want to show it to me.
What's that? Oh,
they don't want to show it to me.
This is just a small taste of a couple of books of this stuff about.
I got a book that I want to publish. I want to put a book out because I feel like once again, I can't find it, but once again, I feel like as artists, man, this is what I've always felt, we're called to suffer.
I'll tell you what you do.
So I feel like if we've suffered and gotten through something, it's our job as an artist to find a way to share that stuff in a way that can bring somebody else up.
Use our pain to, make sure some others don't have to go through it.
Yeah, sometimes just knowing that someone went through what you went through is enough.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We're gonna tag this poem to this video, right, Brian? We could do that. Some of G's writings, I guess we could post up with this.
Yeah, it meant a lot to me when you read that, man.
What?
That night when you read that, man, I was actually touched, man. I am.
Yeah, we've always been close, but that brought us a little closer.
Gangster, man.
Yeah, I hear you.
And that's what I always said made me a gangster. Well, maybe a gangster is not that I'm a killer, I'm a thug, or I'm the toughest dude out there. What made me a gangster was in a environment surrounded with gangsters, I stayed who I was.
That's the hardest thing to do.
I never let it affect my heart.
I mean, you gotta be the most gangster to do that.
It toughened me up. I did a lot of things I didn't, because you know what it is? Sometimes life is an act. This is all, we all become actors in a sense.
Yeah.
But what happens in life was, for me personally, I started hanging out with a tougher crowd, so you have to portray the role of a tougher person. But you play that role enough, and then what happens is you become that person. I was actually a nerd. You know, I was a nerd growing up.
Yeah, you were. I think
You know?
Tupac, one of your favorites, says it's an angel growing up around demons. You know,
Yeah,
it's one of
and
those
I had to like
situations.
portray that role because I realized that when I acted that way, I didn't get bullied.
You know, when
You
I
know?
say angels surrounded by demons, you've felt like you're connected to something bigger, something divine, something.
But I'm grateful for it, man.
I know. I just think
grateful
it's
for my
the
beliefs.
DMT you did or something, right? I mean,
Yeah, DMT definitely did change my life. I mean, a lot of, I mean, like, you know, a lot of the psychedelic shit. When I do it for, you know, sometimes I do it just, you know, for partying and sex on it is great. But the big thing is to expand your mind, to look at things differently. And yeah, DMT definitely changed the way I look at things. Man.
I don't know where
it took away a lot of my anger.
I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere in one of the Bibles about how like the jesters or humor or comics or something will be the difference in the future. I mean, and I just see it. But talking about taking away your anger, I want to be careful in how I phrase this next question because I don't think you owe the public any more than you're willing to give them. But I think you'll know what I'm talking about when I ask this. Even without giving specific details, but there was a moment in your life, a family moment where you were an angry person and a situation went down that was very dark and scary. And, you know, your daughter, when she was a little kid, was able to just give you the words to move past it. And I don't even know if people need to know anything more than that, other than the change that was. Who were you before that moment and after? And you could share as much as you feel comfortable sharing.
There was, and I can't get that deep because I actually get too emotional. Like I said, I'm an emotional dude.
Yeah.
I wear my heart on my sleeve. You see me, I've almost cried on stage a couple of times.
No, for real. That's part of your, you know, reality.
It was just a moment in my life. I was with my ex-wife at the time, and you know, there was a lot. You know, I mean, listen, if you're not doing nothing good, I didn't notice at the time, but if you're not doing nothing good, you're not gonna have no haters. And I had a lot of haters, which I didn't know at the time. I thought I was headed in some sort of direction, but they were trying to break up me and my ex-wife, and you know, I was young, and it got to a point where one of these people were in my house, and I almost murdered them. And my daughter woke up because she heard the commotion, and she came out and just told me to let it in, you know, to wrap up. Basically said, let it go, let this whole thing go away. And it's crazy because I remember she was 8 years old. And she said, "Don't worry, they won't call the cops."
It's like some Field of Dreams, spooky. Like, how does this kid know so much?
Where does an 8-year-old come out with, like, first of all, how do you know this shit?
I mean, look.
How do you know they ain't gonna call the cops?
This is why she's the assistant DA in Astoria, Queens, right?
But the truth is, I mean, that's the knowledge of a child, I guess, man, because they didn't. And I even got to apologize for that whole incident years later after, you know, my whole spiritual awakening, where they would call being born again.
That was the beginning of you being able to turn a corner, you think? Yeah.
I was hardcore Christian from that point. Like, I realized I was headed to jail, you know, and you know, my conversion was in my bedroom. I yelled out to God in tears, "If you're real, prove it. Fuck what anybody's ever told me about you." I knew God like I knew Elvis. I heard a lot of stories, but I never met the man. So I came out and said, "Listen, that's how I know you. I've heard many things, but I never met you. I have no reason to believe you're real, other than what other people tell me." You know, and if you want to know if God is real, man, do that with a sincere heart and see what happens. Because my life changed completely. He met me where I was. So
now you hit, like, before, you know, maybe that period 30 to 48 or whatever, you know, you go.
I was doing Christian hip hop, playing in prisons, doing outreaches.
You were designing clothes, right?
I was designing clothes. I was speaking at men's conferences, women's conferences.
About what? I didn't know this.
Giving my testimony. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew this.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? Tell me about this.
Islands 4 times. I've spoken at 2 men conferences, 2 women conferences. I spoke at you know, what's those places where people ain't got homes and shit?
Atlantic City?
Depends what block you're on. You know, depends what block. Like that's the crazy thing.
They were paying you paper for this, or you were just motivational, trying to help people.
Well, at the time when I was doing the Christian hip hop, I was doing my own stuff. So I was putting my own stuff in the stores because with Christian bookstores, you can get anything put in. So I was making albums and putting them in there, and we were pumping them out of there. It was like hustling drugs, only it was CDs.
And the times you were speaking in front of these groups, it was just about like positivity and shit.
Yeah, it was all about just telling the story of how I changed my life. And if you know, if it could work for me, it could work for anybody. I'm nobody special. I always say it.
Have you ever gone to a meeting? Have you ever even gone to a meeting about substances or substance abuse?
Nah. Nah, I know I abuse substances. You know, but I mean, the thing is, like I said, I make drugs. I do drugs the way they were intended to be done. Not to say that
I think they say if it ain't broke, like, don't fix it. But you were just born broken, so you know, you just keep it rolling, man. No, yeah, man. I don't know. You're just who you are.
I mean, like I said, I party.
It scares the shit out of all of us. But God damn it, like I don't know. You're proof people could do drugs and be great people. I gotta say it. You know, not everybody that does drugs is robbing your fucking house. I mean, that's just the facts.
I mean, I do drugs to enjoy myself and have fun and enhance the situation. I don't do it to escape. And then that's where most people do it to escape. They do it because they don't, they're not.
They're trying to fill a void, but you've.
I mean, I was more abusive back in the day, but I didn't love myself back then. Now I love myself, so it's like, I enjoy myself. I'm only going to live once, man. How long you want to live?
It's going to break my heart, my mom's heart, for me to tell this story. But one time, G gave me something, and I was having the time of my life. But I was awesome. We were selling tickets and like fucking all day out there. It was one of those days where we got out there like 1 o'clock, and he was just like, "This will make it more fun." And I was like, "Fuck it." And
it was a great day.
I think you almost killed me, but it was an amazing.
Nah, man. I did a lot of research on it. You wasn't gonna die. We did a 2CB. And the funny thing was,
Mom, it was a long day.
The funny thing was, you were asking me about that. You were asking me about that for months. Like, yo, what's it like? And I'm like, yo, it's dope. It's kind of like, it's not quite acid. It's not quite Molly. It only lasts 4 hours. I'm like, the mood you're in. And then we did it. And we had a great time. And then at one point, I'll never forget your face. You said, because you were bugging out having fun. You were selling tickets. Everyone was laughing.
Yeah, I was the man for a little bit. And then you looked at
me and you said, yo, G. And I said, what's up? You said, is it all right that I don't know if I got to shit or throw up? And I went,
like, don't you think you could have warned me about that part?
Yeah, I was like, I forgot to tell you it could fuck with your stomach if you didn't
this
eat
is
right
like,
or didn't digest.
He forgets to tell me things like when I passed out in the Tropicana because I was doing push-ups and I went to the hospital because when I woke up my face was swollen and I thought I was having a stroke, but it was only because he was smacking me in the face.
But no, see, here's the thing. That goes to show you how much motherfuckers don't listen to me because I did say it. I said it to you. Because you were like, it was no big deal. And I was like, dude, I smacked you in your face.
Oh, yeah. No, I was out of it. I thought my brother was there with his wife and they weren't.
Yeah,
like I was.
Yeah, you were seeing angels.
I was loopity-doopity.
I actually saw.
G saved my life.
I actually saw a customer who.
Thanks to Tropicana Security for taking 45 minutes to get there.
45 fucking minutes.
Look ahead. What were we saying?
You're lucky they didn't bring you into the stairwell, but that's a different story.
Man. Yeah, right.
No, a dude that was there that day. Came by the other day when I was selling tickets.
Did he make it?
He asked, how's your boy? How's your boy? That was crazy. He went down.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. But, you're still here. We're still here.
It's only because you pushed me.
Like that,
you pushed my back when I was trying to slow roll a kid on the push-ups, and then I yelled at you, and I had no oxygen.
I put my fingers on your shoulder.
I know, but it just threw me off. Look, we got to move on. We got the light.
Working out is not your
You got the light. Is getting the light. Me almost passing.
I wouldn't tell anyone to live the way I live, man. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not normal.
It's a double-edged sword, man. Because it's like I don't know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Like, I'm healthy as fuck. I go to get my physical, and I'll be like, "How's everything?" The doctor's like, "Surprisingly, everything's well."
It's tough, because I grew up with a mom and all that. Just anyone on drugs is a scumbag, this, that. But I don't know.
I'm not a good role model to anybody. Even I'm a good role model as to what not to do. But You know,
I think,
I'm not good to be around if you don't want to do. Like,
look,
if you don't want to party,
I don't want to do that to yourself. I think you're just a unique creature, and you can't compare you to anyone else. I mean,
we're all individuals in our
yeah.
way, man.
I mean, you're what works for you. The proof's in the pudding. You do
the thing is,
amazing shit.
I love drugs, but I also love my rent being paid more. And I love me more.
I mean, you would be called a functional drug user, I guess. I mean, I don't see you all cracked out. You do your responsibilities. You show up for your job. You don't fuck with people. You're nice to everybody. I was up last
night till 5 a.m, and I'm here. Look, do I even?
It's a tough argument, man. You know, it's just the other side of the coin that no one really talks about.
No one likes to talk about how drugs are good.
I don't know what they are, but they're part of.
I mean, listen, drugs are used by doctors. Or, you know, it all depends on what type of drugs you're talking about. There's some drugs that are complete garbage.
Sycophilin, I heard, is coming off the market.
Angel dust is not a drug that I feel anyone should do. You know, I don't even understand why they want to do it. It's just, you know, I don't like shit that immobilizes you. He's like, don't get so hard on angel dust, dude. It's not that bad.
So Licata, he's licking his. Are you drooling over there?
The first time I ever did angel dust. Well, the second time, because usually the first time you do something, you don't even feel the effects. At least for me. But the second time I did it, I was in 1018s. Horrible. Never do it again, man. I remember my feet feeling like they were right up. I became Mr. Potato Head, and like I felt it. I felt them coming up. It was like. And then someone started shooting, and I couldn't run because I couldn't move.
Oh, man.
The only two people standing was me and the shooter. The whole crowd, it was beautiful, actually. The whole crowd went down together and then spread like the Red
Moses.
Sea. And he went running through, bang, bang,
bang. This is the shooting at the club, man,
yeah,
right?
It was 1018, man.
I know a lot of G's stories, man. In just a few years, I know a lot of G's stories.
But I remember I'm never doing this again because I couldn't run. I couldn't duck. I couldn't do nothing. I was just stuck there. Everybody else was doing what they were supposed to do.
And Mike Tyson was there. What was Tyson doing?
Tyson, I think probably when the guns went off, he probably was.
They ushered him out. They probably got security and all that shit.
Yeah. They probably got him out there quicker. I didn't see him after that. I didn't see.
That after Buster Douglas?
I don't know what was going on.
He was already beat, right? That was at that point, right?
No, he was the champ at that point.
Really? That wasn't on the news that Tyson was in a club with a shooting, or was it?
Nah. The shooting didn't even make the news, dude. Come on, man. This is
Tyson was there, bro.
This is early '90s. Clubs didn't talk about shootings, man.
So check it out, man.
I remember watching them shoot this dude in the underground. They shot this kid up in the underground. These motherfuckers took him right out the back door, you know what I'm saying, into the alleyway and just called an ambulance.
It's kind of like how they do it at the casinos. You could jump off a cliff and they'll mop you up and shoot you out the back. But
I've seen that too, man. You remember that day, man? That shit was crazy, man.
I'm going to go right from Gary doing drugs and hanging in clubs with guns going off to the fact that he is also a 8-time champion Little League coach with children. So
that's right. My son forgets that shit every now and then, man. I have to remind him.
Were you high? Have you ever been high coaching Little League?
Always.
To all the 8. You know what?
Now listen, people, when I say drugs, I'm not out there banging heroin or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's like the Bad News Bears.
I've tried some crazy shit, but
the Bad News. What?
Nah, man, we won championships.
Don't tell me Hank Aaron and all. They were all doing the greenies and this and that back in the day. Anyway,
of course.
Man.
Like, I remember
baseball.
Someone once said to me, "Did you ever smoke weed around? You know, when you hung out with your children?" Of course. How do you think I did Legos?
You try to put in 7 innings and then fucking 90 degrees
after working all fucking day, man.
Yeah,
that's what made me able to deal with these fucking kids, man.
So what drugs were you on when you were coaching Little League?
Just smoking weed.
That's it.
Yeah, just weed. I might have went there on like a micro dose once. You know.
Hey, listen, Doc Ellis pitched a no-hitter tripping on acid. So.
Yeah, but they also don't talk about how he hit more batters than any other game.
And like 9 walks or something like that.
He hit a bunch of batters. They don't talk about that. Yeah. But no, I mean, I couldn't coach nowadays. I wouldn't be allowed to. They wouldn't let me coach nowadays.
Too much like soft. Bobby Knight of Little League.
Everything's too soft.
Right.
Too soft. Everyone's too soft. People get mad. Like Petey got mad at me because I told them when a kid would duck from the ball, like playing basketball, they went to pass it to this kid one time on my team, and he ducked. So I stood him in the corner, and I had all the kids throw basketballs at him.
I love that story you told me about when
saying, like, that's how you overcome the fear of getting hit with a basketball.
I love when you told me about the time that you got a bat and a ball and made all the kids take their cups off, and you were hitting line drives with their crotch. That's a great story that Gary loves to tell.
No, you want to hear a really good story though. I had this, and they always gave me the girls, and they always gave me I had this one kid with ADD.
I feel like You're 8 years older than me. If I lived in Queens, I would have been on your team.
Oh yeah, you would have definitely been on my team. You looked like the kid actually that was my third baseman. One of the best third basemans I ever had, dude. But it was weird because he'd be like, I got this, coach. Oh, look, a butterfly, and he started chasing a butterfly, and I had to bring him back. His father would come to the games, but his father wasn't there for him most of the time. Mm-hmm. But he would try to be like, show up like, hey, I'm here for the game, and he would try to coach him from the side. And the kid had ADD, he didn't give a shit. He'd be like, "You're not my coach, Coach G's my coach. Shut up!" And I'd be like, "Yo, leave him alone. Let your kid play. Just root for him, man. Stop trying to be a coach. Let him root."
Championships, man. What happens after a championship? Does the whole team go off a Dairy Queen, or you just kind of shake hands and
we usually played We Are the Champions, blaring out My Car, rubbed it in everybody's faces. Mm-hmm. We were cocky. Mm-hmm. I loved it. When we won teams, I'd make them fucking tackle
take
the other
them on
coach.
McDonald's or something and celebrate?
Nah, man. No. Well, they do a whole ceremony for that at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So that's what I didn't buy nothing for that, man.
Hey, man.
I think we had a couple of
whoever thinks Tom Brady's impressive with 7, G's got 8.
I literally the first year we won, and they were like 8 years old. Yeah. The first year we won, we were not supposed to win. We weren't even supposed to be in there. We went on a 3-game tear.
This was your first ring, so this
first year.
This is the one that stands out. This is why you did it for another 7 years after that.
Nothing ever beat this.
That was a high.
Nothing ever beat this.
Oh,
we were playing the
undefeated
Lakers.
Oh, the Lakers!
And they all
even
wore
the name.
Black. They all wore black. It was like a movie. They all wore black.
Wow.
Right. My team was the Yellow Jackets. We had black shorts, yellow shirts. Their team came for the championship game. They had Laker dolls. Their parents had all Laker shit. Oof. All the kids came. Their shirts were hanging out. Like stains on their shirts and shit. And they had
what was your team name?
The Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets.
And they had two really good kids. These kids stood good, good all the way up. They were always the best players.
Right.
This Asian kid and this black kid. And their coach always just made them give them the ball. But I coached, man. You're only as strong as your weakest link. So when the little black kid fouled out, all they had was a little Asian kid left. And I sent all my kids on them. Just guard their little Asian kid. They had him pocket. He passed the ball to the other kids. They didn't know what to do with it because all year round they never got to touch it. We wound up winning that game by 1 point at the buzzer. When I tell you the bleachers emptied out like it was a college championship. I remember the ref said, I never refed an 8-year-old game like this. I've never seen this. They had the kids on their shoulders. It was insane.
Can you give us a little insight into something you said or a coaching moment in that spot? Like, what was you motivate them? Like, what was it?
The best speech I ever gave in my life. And the thing is, the parents that were there, they always wanted me to top it. I couldn't top it.
You couldn't top the championship. You couldn't top the speech.
I couldn't top the speech.
Oh man, this is like Judy Garland and Wizard of Oz, Dorothy, and then
I had parents crying.
Dorothy and all the rest of the stuff.
I had parents crying.
What do you got?
I said to them, I remember we sat down before the game. We weren't supposed to win. I said, "So you ready to play this game?" And everybody's like, "Yeah." I said, "Is anybody scared?" And nobody raised their hand. I said, "Nobody's scared?" And then one kid raised his hand. I said, I'm scared too.
I've heard this one. I'm crying.
And then when I said that, I said, "Is anybody nervous?" And then like 3 hands went up and I said, "I'm nervous too." And then all the hands started going up. And I said, "See, we're all in the same boat. But let me tell you something right now. You're always going to be afraid. There's always going to be something that scares you. But when you face those things, it's moments like this that turn little boys into men." And they went nuts. They went nuts. They were ready. I could have told them run through that wall. They would have ran through that wall.
That shit could be.
Parents were crying.
I mean, that could be insane. In a Disney movie about a bunch of kids who make the majors or some shit.
I was that coach. I had this girl on my baseball team. That was for basketball. And I did 8 in baseball, 8 in basketball. I had this girl. The girls were always the best. They always played the hardest. They made a mistake by giving me the girls because the girls gave me their all. I had this one girl, dude, nobody on my team could hit like her. She was from the Bronx. She had the swing. Oh my God. If she's not playing on some sort of level now, I don't know. But it was this little Asian kid pitching and she hit the ball right back into his chiclets. Boom. Right in the mouth. This kid straightened out. You could have put a hula hoop
teeth
around
flying?
him.
Anything?
No, he didn't. Okay. I don't know if he lost teeth. Okay. I don't know. I know that he went straight. Like his whole body was in the air like a magic trick. You could have put a hula hoop around him. And then he hit the floor. The whole crowd said, and I said, "That's a live ball! Run!" That's the way I
That's
coach.
how he competed.
That's how I coach.
I have a similar story
And she made it to third base before anyone even touched the fucking ball, and they only gave her a double. I was like, how's that a fucking double? That should at least be a triple. No one even touched the ball till she got to third.
So
I mean, the kid got rushed to the hospital. He came back to pitch at the end of the year, and I was very surprised because I got hit in the chicklets once by my brother, pitching to my brother with a hard ball. I never pitched again. I went to left field.
I was, if you don't know me,
as far away
I
as I
talk
could
about how place I came up, grew up, became funny. All that was Camp Sussex, which is a camp that was mostly black kids, and I went there all through being a kid and up to the point where now I was a counselor. And we got a challenge from another camp, the YMCA camp out in like Pennsylvania, all white kids, to play them in soccer. And I had these kids from fucking Coney Island and everything.
You said mostly black though, so what you had was probably the best soccer team ever.
I said, look, I got athletes here, man. I don't know what's they were like 10. I'm like, I mean, if I could just show
white kids can get a little busy in soccer too.
So we every day we'd get out there, listen to Eye of the Tiger. We were doing Eye of the Tiger for our song competition later, and I was Rocky, and my friend fucking knocked me out. The guy who played Apollo that night was like, he knew he was gonna lose.
See, this is so funny because that's some shit I would have did when I was that age, probably. And right away when he said it, I'm like, gay. Fucking,
but
singing fucking.
Oh, I had them all. Eye of the Tiger. We get to the fucking camp. We're all pumped up playing the song before, and I think these white kids beat us like 11-0. But the point is that
every now and then you guys do.
We tried.
Every now and then in sports, white people will surprise you.
You can't give a speech in that situation when you do that. These kids were like had been playing since like they were 4 in like cul-de-sacs and stuff. It just wasn't fair.
What the hell's a cul-de-sac?
That's sort of like the mansion where you kind of the driveway.
I knew there's a reason why I didn't know what that was, man. I knew there was a reason why I didn't know what that was.
What kind of sax do you know about, G?
Saxophone.
Right? The sax you used to
of
sling,
weed.
right?
Sax of weed.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
But you notice I said saxophone
I think,
first.
Brian, if I'm doing my math right, something like 72% of the people who have ever been associated with ACJokes have at some point been drug dealers. Something like that. What's that? Higher. Well, no pun intended. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably like 2 people that didn't.
I tried it while I was for about a weekend. I picked up some cheap weed at Gathering of the Vibes, and
I thought you was one.
I was wearing sweatpants and everything, and all my friends knew I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't even have a scale, and they would all show up and be like, dude, it's light, and like
I remember
rolled me, and I was the only Jewish drug dealer to ever lose money trying to sell weed. I was in the game for about in the game for about 3 days, I would say. 3 days. I actually
literally remember selling my first bag of weed. And it wasn't in a bag, it was in those tray envelopes. And I actually remember that. I remember being in aviation. I remember my man, if I'm correct, it was Marcelo, giving me my first like pack. He gave me 10 tray bags or Nick bags, but they were huge. And it was garbage. It was just all dirt, garbage. And I remember when I sold my first bag, I was nervous that they were going to be like, this is garbage, and then bring it back.
So
I don't like returns.
Speaking of drugs,
I mean, listen, that's where I learned how to deal with people. That's where
I learned
my
at
sales.
the Jewish
I got like
deli.
45 years worth of sales experience. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, man. People think that shit ain't a job. It's a job, man. You got to do all kinds of things. There's an overhead. You got your overhead. You got to make sure you got, re-ups. You got to make sure you got to deal with droughts. You got to deal with a lot of things. You got to deal with burnouts. Come on, man.
It's true.
I remember people used to come to my fucking house and ask my mother, is Gary home? Oh, no, we're friends. I'm like, dude, you're 37 years old.
Sorry about that.
I'm 17. I'm like 16, 17. I got a 37-year-old man knocking on my door saying to my mother, is Gary home?
Oh, God.
Explain, oh, no, we're friends. We're friends? You're 37, dog. Fuck out of here. Fucking stupid.
All right. So we're going to go right from drugs into what I'm going to say is not the speed round, but we're going to pick things up and just kind of briefly touch on a few things.
I was expecting a lot more. I thought you were going to come at me a lot harder, man. I thought you were going to dig deeper. But go ahead. Let's see what you got for me.
Tell us about your dad.
What do you want to know about him, man?
Whatever you want to tell
Garcia,
us,
man. Great dude. Not a perfect dude. A good alcoholic. There's 2 types. There's the bad alcoholic who smacks everybody up, and then there's the I love you alcoholic. He was the I love you alcoholic. He was a good man, man. He was the lover. He was the loving one in my family. My mother was more of the disciplinarian in my family. Did I use the right word? Man,
did you get the belt? I used to get the belt.
I used to get the
belt. My mom denies it. I'm like, you used to give me the buckle of the belt. Get the hell out of here.
Oh, yeah, I used to get the belt. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying my pops never did hit me. I mean, he would hit me if he had to. Mm-hmm. But he was also one of the toughest men I knew. You know, and he got respected by everybody. I just met you when
he passed, right? You were at the Showboat, right?
Yeah, I was at Showboat. He passed away, unfortunately, alone in his crib. I didn't find out for like a couple of days after that. He was my biggest fan. You know, I remember I would call him up, and he would know where I was. He would know what city I was in. He would know what time the show was.
He had gone to your music shows and comedy shows.
He came to see me in my music. He never seen me do comedy, unfortunately.
Okay.
But he actually was the only. Well, my brother came, but he came to see me do.
Hey, listen.
Music. I remember seeing him.
Go ahead.
Me, KRS, Skadanks. We were in what was the name of Wetlands in Manhattan. And my pops came and he was chilling in the back with us, man. Everybody was smoking mad weed. My pops wasn't a weed head. He got so fucked up just from the air, you know. Yeah, my pops was cool people, man.
I love you.
I didn't see him. I didn't see him for a long time. We weren't as close once I got married and he moved to Florida. Unfortunately, we talked all the time, but we didn't see each other for 17 years.
You call your kids a lot, right?
Yeah.
So you talk to your daughter almost every day, too?
I try to talk to her every day. I try to see them both as much as possible. It's hard now. That's one of the sacrifices of doing comedy.
Yeah.
You know, I used to see my son every day. And now, I'm lucky if I see him twice a month.
I'm going to move up closer to Willow so I can see her more and drive down here and be like an hour away. But I'm going to try to take her like 3 days after school and stuff.
I mean, I always believe things are going to get better. But I talk to them and I understand they're older now, man. You know, there comes a point you live your life. You got to live your life. And so I don't get upset if they don't call me. But, we're close. You know, there was a moment me and my son were separated for a while. Like, when I first got divorced, he was very upset at me, I guess, for it. But I understand. You know, we were close. I was that father that was close. We used to play Xbox. You know what I'm saying? I'd be downstairs, he'd be upstairs. We had our own clan. So when I left, I know I took a lot with me, you know.
Did you feel like you were more of the friends relationship than like typical father-son, disciplinary? Like, was he...
Nah, I was all of that.
You did all that too.
Yeah.
You were able to do both.
I never really had to discipline him too much. It wasn't until the divorce that the rebellious started coming because,
a little bit.
Yeah, because, one parent going against the other parent, you're not gonna be able to raise the kids right. But I mean, I wasn't a good role model for them either. I mean, when they talk about all of that, when my son or my daughter says, "Oh, we were talking about you yesterday, Dad,"
well, they're proud of you, man.
I'm like, all right, what story were you telling? And my daughter will be like, "Remember when we went to go see the Cyclones and you hit that chick with the burger and it slapped on the back of her neck, and then you told me go back and sit with your mother and your brother, let them know I'm getting thrown out, that I'm gonna be over."
Hey, the stories, they love you, and the stories are the stories.
Yeah, and then my son's like, "Yeah, remember that time when we just bought the brand new Taurus? It wasn't brand new, it was new to us. It was used, but it was new to us. And we were headed up to Canada. I said, let's go take a ride. And a cab driver rode me off the road onto the sidewalk. And he's like, remember when you were kicking the shit out of that cab driver? And I'm like, dude, why is it you remember those?
Yeah, the ones
you don't remember you don't remember all the good times,
Yeah, it sounds like good
But
times,
I mean,
though.
They were good. They were good times, man. Like, Christmas was always great.
It's the way I think teachers, like if you were a coach, you always remember the bad kids more than the good kids. The good kids kind of just blend in, but the crazy kids are just like the ones you laugh at after the fact.
Yeah, but the kids I coach, man, I know I touched their lives. I see them to this day.
I can imagine.
I see them to this day. They still call me Coach G.
What I was good at coaching was like, in camp we would do like the Olympics with the singing the songs and writing cheers and comedy songs, and like I was always leading that charge. And to this day, I still have some people I run into once in a while that are like, "You were my general," and that shit was amazing and fun.
Unfortunately, I went to a funeral. I'd say like kids? Right before COVID hit. It wasn't one of my kids, but they were in that age group.
Oh,
actually, my ex-wife used to babysit her.
Yeah,
so I was close with her, and I went to the funeral. And when I walked in, it was weird because all the young kids that were there, a good like 50% of them I coached. at some point in their life. And they saw me walk in and they all got up and was like, Coach G. And they all came like running over to me. And I'm like, guys, this ain't, wait till we go outside, like in the church, you know, it's like, it was weird. But yeah, they got mad love. I could be on the bus and they could see me on the bus and they'll yell my name. I love those kids. To this day, they follow me on Facebook, most of them, man.
We should do a show where we invite out anyone who's ever played for Gary G Garcia. Do a fucking reunion.
I was nuts, man. I made my kids cry sometimes. See, the thing is, I would never want to.
He's like, I don't want to go that far.
I would never want to break their spirit. So I was always quick. Listen, I'm always quick to, like I did with you. I argued the other day. What I do the next day, I apologize, because if you're wrong, a man knows when he's wrong and he apologizes.
Yeah, I can kind of read between the lines with you guys a lot. I feel like you were just a little shout out.
If I ever made a kid cry in front of the whole team,
then
it would be in front of the whole team that I would admit that I went too far and that I was wrong.
You're a man's man.
And that's how you're supposed to do it.
Speaking of man's man, this all started with me bringing up your dad, and I just wanted to close this by saying he passed away knowing that you were staying at a casino in Atlantic City in a free room to do comedy. So it's like he knew that you were onto something, you know?
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool, you know? You can't get a free room in AC to do comedy unless you're doing something right.
I remember actually you guys were one of the high, you know, you were kind of one of the high moments when I had to go with my son. We're actually thinking of writing a movie about that too. The experience was just insane, man. Cause like, I remember when I was emptying out the bank account, you and Mike Merck called me up. And y'all didn't know where I was.
We were joking.
And y'all were fucking with me. And you could hear your voices clear through my phone. And the person on the other end was like, what the fuck is going on?
You're like, now's the time, guys. I love you, but is this just happening?
Nah, I was actually happy to hear from you dudes, man. The fact that you called me meant a lot. It was a crazy time, but, you know, it's part of life.
All right.
You know.
Here we go with the speed. This is something random out of nowhere, but you turned me on to show me, I think it was from the Breakfast Club, a rapper, My Son.
My Son, yeah.
And I've listened to it a few times since, and I think you relate to him. He's sort of, you know, talks about moving shit forward, but keeps the street part to it. You know, it reminds me a lot of you. I don't know if there's anything you want to say about that cat, but people should check him out.
It's just a thing of, I let you hear because that's just real. He's just real. Like I remember when I heard him, I was like, man, I wish I could write the way he writes. But then I realized to write the way he writes, you have to live the life he lived, and I don't want that.
I think you write comedy. You know? He could probably look at your comedy and be like, I wish I could do, you know, write.
I mean, I've had people come up to me and wish like they did comedy the way I do, or they wish they had a bit that I did, but to do it the way I do it, you have to live the life I lived.
Yeah.
My life has not been an easy life. I'm not ashamed to say I'm kind of proud of myself of where I've come when I look back at where I've come from. I'm far from perfect. I still got a lot of things to learn about. I still got a lot of issues. But as far as like, I love myself, man. I love the life I've lived.
That's the only reason you've been able to get through it.
I love everybody who ever bullied me, everyone who ever hated on me, who ever loved me. You know, I love every mistake I ever made because it made me who I am, and I love who I am.
You can't let the hate in, man. You don't know it. You don't know it to that. You know, you start letting that shit in, and
everything can either build you or break you. And I choose. You know, it's a choice. It's a choice. I used to let it break me, and it's never too late to say, you know what, I'm not gonna let it break me no more.
My Son, and in rare other forms, get compared to your favorite Tupac, and that is a crazy fucking comparison to throw out there, but it just makes sense, man. The way people talk to you, the way they react to you, the way you have it where you're wearing your white t-shirt and the bald head. You do look like him.
I think it's the bald head.
You know, you got the tats, you got the wiry, you got the pack, you know, the four pack because of your torso. The fact that people sign your shirt, you wear a white shirt and people sign that after the shows rather than looking for your autograph, you accept the fans' autographs.
I wear everywhere I go, man. That's the shit I keep to my own.
I'm so glad Ray Vasquez came up with that idea. And remember when Ray was like, "Oh, I'm gonna start," and you were like, "Yo, dog, that's too much with the fucking signing the shirt. That's my shit."
That's my shit. I know it's gonna get stolen event. Like someone else will see it and hopefully they'll do it.
I
but
think
I just don't want my people to
I
be the
will
ones
make
that
sure
take it
people
from me,
put it on blast that G started that shit for sure.
And the thing is, it's not. And the reason why I hold it tight to my heart is because it's not a gimmick.
It's not.
It's not. It was
It's
straight
very
from the
real.
heart.
It's exactly who you are.
I was on edibles that night. I remember it was the first time I ever took just the right amount of edibles, because usually edibles don't do nothing to me. But that night, man, I was nice. I was high. I was feeling lovey. Had a great set. And I wanted their autograph. I said, man, I want these people's autograph. They was such a good crowd. And then from there, it just took on. I just kept doing it. Whenever I have a really good crowd, I'll take off the shirt and get their autograph.
It's great. And as far as merchandise, everyone wants to know for the summer. I've been talking, we didn't do last year for Corona, but I want to make little thong underwears and bathing suits with Gary's face right on the crotch and sell them as G-strings. What do you think, Lakata? Those would be flying, black and pink, but his big face smiling, right where the special parts would be. I think makes a lot of sense. I think girls would be loving that. I didn't know what to call them. They're special.
Call it a vagina.
No, you're like, don't call it a vajayjay.
No, don't call it a vagina.
Special parts was pretty cool.
Brian is just too big.
Your special
to say
parts.
vajayjay at all.
That's pretty good.
It's big 6 foot dude saying vajayjay.
Any talents you have that we don't know about? Any hidden talent that we've never come to? Can you juggle? Can you lick your own eyeballs? Anything?
Any hidden talents that I got? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I could do everything. What can I do? If you show me once, I'll show you.
I feel like you wouldn't be a very good yodeler.
Oh no, I can't yodel. Nah, man. I let me see. I play drums.
Okay.
Play guitar.
Okay.
But you should know that. I mean, I do music, so that's not Yeah, nah. I mean,
you got a lot of talents out
dance,
front.
so
you don't really hide them. You just put them out there.
I try to use anything that I can use.
What's your favorite Matt Bridgestone moment? Did I ask that already? I'm going to ask that like 9 times.
You didn't, and I wish I knew the date. I wish I wrote down.
Oh, there is one. Yes,
that day.
A definitive Matt Bridgestone favorite.
You mean excited. Just hanging out?
I don't know. However you want to answer.
Honestly, hanging out, we've had a lot of good times.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think one of the things that I loved, the best time I ever had, was watching you perform not too long ago. It was like 3 months ago.
Yeah,
where you just caught lightning in a bottle, and you actually made me appreciate going to a comedy club again. That was an awesome fucking night. I wasn't even going to go out that night. I said, let me go, man. If I was home, I'd be at the Grisly Pear. So let me go there. And I went, and I remember I was like, yo, Matt is on some serious fucking fire now, man. That was amazing. It was fun to watch.
Highlights, I remember some chick was talking about hairy legs and giving blowjobs, and then Mike walked in with these people that were getting married, and I was going in on the fucking, my marriage. And
it was the perfect crowd for you.
Girl was wearing a short skirt, and I was like saying that she didn't shave either. It's just everything was just.
It was the perfect storm. It was like
weaving together.
It was like a hand-picked crowd just for you. You couldn't have asked for a better bunch of people to listen to what you had to say, man. It was amazing. It was amazing, man.
Yeah, I'm cool. I got you paying attention, because the other night you weren't paying attention. Someone was on stage, I forget who, and you were talking to Eric, that girl, Eric.
She was talking to me, and I kept saying shh. I kept saying shh. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
It's the new thing. Women kicking it to me with their men right there. I don't get that at all.
That's the new thing for G. Tell us a little about this. I think it's worth. Can we go into a little overtime here?
It just seems to be a new thing, man. We're like, you've noticed it, right? The only women that'll kick it to me at this show is with their men, and they'll be with their men, like straight up kicking it to me. I feel very uncomfortable. And the last time this dude said, "Listen, dog, you trying to take my girl?" And I said, "Dude, you just heard her. I don't even want to be in a relationship. Relationships are strong. I don't need more women in my life, dog. But I was going to go home and watch porn. If you guys want to go back to your room, I'll sit in the corner, watch you do your thing, and then I'll let myself out when you're finished quietly. You won't even know I'm gone."
This makes sense to me. If you could coach Little League and make those kinds of speeches,
I think I could be good for relationships.
Make this same kind of speech about becoming a man to the guy.
Because I was telling Matt that, I wouldn't even be quiet. I'd be one of them dudes who talk. I'd be like, "Look at you guys, man. So fucking beautiful. I see what you see in each other. Look at you.
I've said this.
Sexy."
I've said this before. There
I'd
are people who get paid just to lay in bed with people, hug them tightly, and whisper confident things in their ear. And I can't think of anyone that I think would be better than you.
What would be good? You can bring me in while you're having sex with your lady, and I'll just whisper dirty shit into her ear. If you're not a good, I just stand by the side and just be like, "Oh, baby," you know.
The best thing Gary ever told me was to, if you're at a strip club, say to the girl, "My favorite part of your body is your face," and they melt every time. Right? It's like my asking girls if they're Brazilian move, even if.
But that's not even the thing. The thing is, I'm a face man. I've always been a face man. That's what you're gonna look at the most. You know, everything else is whatever, man.
That's true.
You know.
You like eye contact.
Yeah, I like eye contact. I like imperfections. You know, I don't like fake shit. I don't like fake boobs. I don't like you know, any of that dumb shit. I like you know, real people. I get attracted to the heart, but it's the face that attracts me first. After that, it's the continence of a person that gets me.
There's a word for what you are that's just attracted to people's like energy and spirit and soul.
Dude, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's the law of attraction. It's our energy that we put out there, man. You know, like and the truth is, it's real, because when I leave the house and I feel like shit and I'm in a mood and I'm not focused and I'm just being like the old me, angry about everything, I draw negative shit to me. That's going to be the day when I'm telling that lady who's telling me to put my mask up over my fucking nose that you're worried about COVID, but I'm about to throw you through that window and you're not worried about that. You know, obviously I'm off. My energy is off. So I gotta, you know, you gotta stay focused, man. You gotta want to be happy.
You know, speaking about staying focused, and I have ADD. I was mentioning Tupac, and I wanted to say maybe if you could speak about, you know, the influence that he's had over you, because you say he's your favorite.
Oh, he's my favorite, but I can't say he didn't have any influence. But the thing is, like, you know, when he was coming out, I didn't really start like getting really I was into Tupac in the beginning, but I got really more into him, of course, like most people do, after he passed away.
I got really into his interviews, like old interviews.
Like that's when I started getting really, like I was always a Pac fan.
You know, great, but I always said Pac, that got me really.
I always said between Pac and Biggie, I always thought Pac won. You know, but you know, I think we have a lot in common. Also, just like he's the 17th, I think I'm the 18th of June. You know, we're around the same age. We're both Geminis.
I think you just have a similar outlook on things, you know, just trying to be positive.
Read a lot of the same books. We both read. See, that's the thing, man. What people got to realize is like sometimes I'll say something like, oh, so-and-so. My thoughts are not original, but they're mine. They're my thoughts. They're
other people have had them. You're having them also.
I've learned
you could just
by
put
hearing other things from other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you learn things from the people around you. Mm-hmm. So I can't take no credit for, like, you know, I say something deep. It's because I learned it from scripture. I say something from a book. It's a quote from a book. But the thing is, it became mine. I received it, accepted it, and now that's became part of my character. You know, that's what changes you. You've
said this a lot to me in relation to your favorite comedian, Patrice O'Neal, almost how he's like, you're from his school, how he kind of, you know, helped you change the way you kind of think about some things.
Yeah, especially with
did you wind up watching the special the other night?
I saw it 3 times already.
I want to watch it with you.
I saw it. I'll watch it again. I'll watch it again. I was very inspired, because the thing is, it's also, you know, what attracts me to people like Pac and people like Patrice is that the way he thinks is the way I think. Even before I hear him say it, I sit there and go, okay, there's another person that thinks the way it is. Patrice helped me a lot with when I got divorced, with the way I look at relationships.
For sure.
Now, I don't know if he messed it up or if he actually helped me to grow into it. I think I love more, to be honest.
He just toughened you up a little bit.
I think I have a deeper understanding of love, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he helped me to get through a lot of shit, like that bitch shit that I was doing when I went through the divorce, you know. And
people won't roll you. You could not look to roll them, but just be protected from some shit. You know,
it's a thing of, like, you know, life. And this ain't something that he told me, but as I've learned, life is moments.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Life is moments. So how you look at those moments, like me, I think I had a successful marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because I'm divorced doesn't mean my marriage wasn't successful.
2 kids, learned a lot.
You know, she was 16, I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had the 2 kids. We were together for 25 years. We raised 2 great kids, you know. When I broke out, she had a house. She's been taking care of the house, moving up. She drives a Benz.
Yeah, man.
We're still friends. We're still family.
Not everything's got to end like in The Notebook when they're holding hands and die on the same deathbed together, smooching. It's like
that depressing shit.
It's like, you know,
that depressing. Can I even be alone when I die? I can't lie. Like I would say if I I had the chance or the choice to choose how I died, I would want it to be. It's
quiet.
fucked up because I don't want it to be right after.
I love it. Go ahead.
But I would want it to be right after, like I do a show at Madison Square Garden, and right when I say goodnight,
boom, drop the mic, drop to the floor.
Drop the mic and drop myself at the same time.
I thought you were going to die in a hotel room with Zach doing drugs. What happened? You have 20 ways you want to die.
No. That's the way if I had the choice. The truth is I'm probably going to die in the bathroom. With my head in the toilet.
I'll compare you to Lenny Bruce.
Or at least curled up in a ball on a toilet. Because every single time I feel like I am dying, I'm always in the bathroom. Like the last time I crawled out, I knew I wasn't going to die. I thought
I was going to die that day he gave me those drugs on the boardwalk. But go ahead.
You did not think you were going to die. You just thought you were going to.
On the toilet.
And look, I kept it real. You shit and you felt better.
Stupid joke. Didn't mean to cut you off. Keep
going.
But
I'm just saying the last time I took too much edibles for the first time. Mm-hmm. And I remember all my people telling me how you feel like you're going to die. So I knew I wasn't going to die. But I knew this was the feeling that they felt. And then feeling it after a while, you sit there and go, well, what if I'm the one? You know, like, what if I'm the one that actually does die from edibles? So thinking about you guys, I didn't want to die in the toilet. So I literally crawled into my bedroom so I could be on that little fluffy rug. Because I figured, if you guys have to find my body, you don't want to see me in the toilet. You guys will feel a little bad about that, But if you come in and I'm curled like an angel on a little white rug, it's kind of like, it's a little more easy to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if the bad, you'd be like, damn, that's exactly the way he didn't want to go. It makes it a little more depressing.
You've talked about how you think
is that depressing in itself? I don't think that is depressing. I don't.
It's part of life, man.
Yeah, but I mean, I also don't believe that it's the end. That's the reason why I don't find it depressing, is because I believe our spirits are eternal. We will go on to meet again and know each other again in some sort of form.
How tapped into this are you? How much do you see yourself as part of some, chosen or energy or universe or God shit that's going on? Like, you feel like that you're kind of dealing with something that isn't particularly normal. Like you acknowledge it and you embrace it, but what is it?
Well, what is God?
No, what is it that you're feeling that you're tapped into that is on a different level? That you've seen things since you're a kid though that kind of spoke to you.
God.
Yeah.
I speak to God. I talk to God.
I'm on a different level, like on a different plane. I don't want to put you above people.
No. I'm just saying. I believe that people say. I mean, one person said, "Oh, you talk to God." I never hear from God. I said, "Well, do you ever talk to him?" Mm-hmm. People who talk to God a little hear from God a little. People who talk to him a lot hear from God a lot. I'm not into religion, so I'm not. I guess a lot of my beliefs have come from Christian Judeo beliefs. But I also feel that I see some flaws in that, and I see flaws in all religion. So I go, well, what runs the same? How they say, like, there's always three sides to a story. There's your side, my side, and then there's the truth. Mm-hmm. And you can find the truth in both stories when they match, in a sense. So I believe, we're all created by God. I believe we all are a part of God. I believe like we're all a part of God's energy. And that's our connection to God. That's why we feel like if you don't talk to God or you have no faith in nothing, that's why you feel empty inside. Because there's a part of you that longs to know himself, which is that being of, I believe we go back to being a part of God, whole with God again.
For me with you, it's like, it's almost that Spider-Man shit with like great power comes great responsibility. And you are tapped into some deep stuff. And like, how responsible do you feel for getting this out there? Because the stage time's so important to you, and cheering people. Like, you just do what you do. Do you feel like a calling? Or
I feel like I was definitely called to do comedy, to do stand-up. Because as you can see, my stand-up's not always comedy. It used to be more, but now it's not always comedy. But I feel like I was called to do stand-up. I don't feel like I'm called to tell everybody about their spirit or soul or whatever. I want to let my life be what inspires the people to do. If you ask, I'll answer. Right. If you want to know where my peace comes from, I'll tell you where my peace comes from. If you want to know where I stand on my beliefs in God, I'll tell you. But I'm not going to cram it down your throat.
You're just trying to exist, and if people want to follow the way you've existed and learn from it, then they're more than welcome.
I believe that if a person is, like, I'm trying to fill myself with love. I'm trying to give out love to people. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not there, but I'm trying to fill myself where all that comes out of me is love. And that's what I share on stage, and about enjoying life and about loving life and about embracing everything. And I feel that if you naturally start to do that, if you naturally start to look into things as love instead of stress and anger and all this other things, I feel that's going to bring you to God on your own. It's not for me. Listen, God don't need me to help him out. Not even him, her, whatever. The Spirit of God doesn't need me to help him out. If God is what God is, then God could do it on his own. He got me. You meet people and people say things that stick with you, but there comes a point in your life where all those things come full circle, and then you see. And like, who was it that spoke to me that day who said they won't call the cops? Was it my 8-year-old daughter, or was it the Spirit of God in her stepping up and saying?
If I could look at it from the outside, I'd say there's a little God in you and a little you in God. It's all fucking interconnected and all that, but who the hell knows?
Everybody's
all
trying
I know
to find
is
the meaning. Just try to find love. Just love yourself.
Look,
live your life.
I say I believe in good, not God. Like, that's what I believe in, and it feels like you're doing something good. It feels like you're cheering people up. You know,
once again, like, you can feel all good things come from God.
Be good. That's the ET shit, man.
All
is he
good
speaking
things
close
come
enough
from
to the mic? Because he told. Okay, cool.
Yeah, all good things come from God, dude. So that's why I say, like, if I'm showing people love, like the other night, those 4 black ladies came out and were talking to me, and it became a conversation about spirituality. I didn't bring it up; they did. You know what I'm saying? And we had a great conversation about it. You know, I don't. You know, I'm not trying to beat nobody in the head. I believe that no one's perfect. Everybody's got, you know, just because I might sin a little better than you, then that don't make me better than you. I always say it, I'm nobody. I believe I'm special, but I'm nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. It sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but I'm not. In other words, I'm not special. I'm walking in the calling I was given. Everybody has a calling that, you know, it might just be to fucking work at Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know. But if that's your calling and you're at peace and you're at love, believe me, you're affecting the people that are around you.
You are the most humble egomaniac I know. I have to say that.
And that's crazy, right? Because I am an egomaniac. I will be quick to say I'm a rock star.
That would be a cool t-shirt. Your logo, it just says humble egomaniac.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea, man.
Put those right next to the G-strings.
Yeah, I am full of myself. I know I'm full of myself. I know. I feel like
I think you know how good you are.
I feel like if my heart keeps beating and doesn't end too soon, I feel like I will get to see how good I can be. If the heart stops, I still think everyone else will get to see how good I was.
You believe there's a very good chance you're going to blow up after you die.
Petey's wife said to me one time, he's listening to one of my songs, and Petey's wife goes, "Oh my God, Gary, no one's going to understand what kind of an artist you were until you're dead." And Petey was like, "Why would you say that?" And I was like,
"Why can't we appreciate the things when they're here?"
I kind of agree on that.
That's why I'm mad. Not mad. That's why I want to talk to all the guys about.
Because that's just a natural thing.
Yeah, I just feel like I want to talk to everyone about, like, trying to just take in what's going on and
but it's
and
always going to be
moment.
A natural thing, even if you do. Like, I
appreciate
remember
it more
I
once
didn't
it's
get
gone,
into
right?
John Lennon until John Lennon got shot. And actually, John Lennon was the big motivator of my life to entertain, to not entertain, but to do music or art.
We have that in common, John Lennon.
I remember when I saw John Lennon die, right? I didn't see him die, but I remember when I was watching the news after he died, and I saw everybody in Central Park crying.
1980,
and it's funny,
right? You were how old?
I was
8 at the time.
1980. I was 10.
10, yeah.
Yeah. And my daughter's actually born on December 8th, which is the day that he got murdered.
The actual day, actual year?
Not the year, but the day he got murdered.
Got you.
I remember saying to myself, "Wow, man, that dude touched so many hearts. Like, look at all those hearts he touched." And I remember thinking to myself, I want to touch hearts like that.
At 10, you knew it.
I said, I want to touch hearts like that. And my brother, who was 3 years older, and my other cousin, we were in our first band together. My brother wanted to be as famous as John Lennon. And my cousin wanted to write music as good as John Lennon. He hit everybody in a different way. I just want to touch people the way he touched people. And that's what got me into seeing other people like Bob Marley and stuff like that. Like the way those people
They spoke to people's souls.
spoke and touched and was real and moved, and that's what it's about to me, man. I mean, that's what it's about for me. I know I could be a mean dick and I could be a bully sometimes too, but
this is it. This is the G-Force we talk about, right? When are we making those sneakers? The G-Force ones?
I don't know, man. Maybe some sneakers. Yeah,
I think you could. I would. I always dreamed of having my own sneaker because I think it would be ironic because I'm just not that guy, but I think people would actually wear the G's. A lot of Jews
have their own sneakers.
I don't know, man.
Don't they own a lot of sneaker spots?
Mine would be like those when the Starberries came out. No one would really know what to make of them. How did that go over in Queens? Because I hear certain pockets of Starberries were popular. Other pockets you would get beat up just for having them.
I had a pair of Starberries.
And I was older.
I liked the whole idea
were Stefan's Marbury's $15 sneakers in the hood around
I liked his idea. His idea was to get his sneakers onto the feet of people who couldn't spend $80, $100. It's a noble idea, but unfortunately for the hood,
they were just like, "You poor."
If you don't pay a lot, then it don't mean much. And that's what I'm saying. Like for me, I never really cared about that shit, man. That's why I remember when I used to hustle back with my boys, they would all be in Gucci suits and Louis Vuitton suits and shit, and they had their cars. I didn't have no car.
Right.
But when we went to the club, they were all trying to borrow money from me. And I'd be like, dude, how come you ain't? Oh, cause I just bought this, big gold chains and shit. I had a little bit of jewels, me. I like to flash a little bit, but
let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. How would it feel? How would someone go over today if they showed up in the hood wearing some Starberries? How would that go over?
I think today
throwback love.
I think today it would be throwback love. I think today the hood is a lot more open
to that.
To wanting to see people get out. I honestly do. I told you, I heard that dude that time singing that song from this blasting that song fucking from Zombie. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh no, baby, I will love you till
people
you're
would
70.
like the message.
And I looked and it was this big black dude in this crazy truck. It was all up blasting it. I will love you till I'm 70. And I'm like, see, back in my day, you couldn't do that. Like you couldn't sit there. I couldn't sit there and listen to fucking Zombie. Or Patrice does a whole joke about it. That's why I don't talk about it much.
The hood's kind of growing up a little, man.
Like, I like the Beatles, and he's like, you couldn't listen to the Beatles. You heard that bit Patrice said. He said, be like, bitch, better have my money. And then he drives away. All you need is love.
I like it.
But that's true. That's true shit because I've seen it firsthand. And now I think it'd be different. I think now if I came back from tap, if they didn't see me going, they'd be like, yo, dude, I thought you had tap dance today. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's like, I don't know. I could be wrong. I haven't been back to the hood in a while. I could be wrong, but I know that was the vibe I kind of got when I was leaving. It was more like supportive.
1994, you go in John Starks jersey, Patrick Ewing, or Anthony Mason, or Oakley?
Oakley or Mason.
I like it.
They've let me down less.
That's
Patrick will always have the finger roll.
Oakley was,
and Starks will always have the 1 for 13.
Oakley tried so hard, man.
1 for 13.
Oh yeah.
Well, Oakley was a champion. He won championships.
Oakley?
Charles Oakley? Yeah, he won with was he with the Pistons?
I don't know about that's not no.
Wasn't Charles Oakley with the Pistons?
Oakley was with the Bulls early. He would have stayed with Jordan. They traded him, and
the Bulls got him from the Pistons.
I think Jordan started winning rings after Oakley was gone. Then he was on the Knicks, and then he was fighting in the stands.
Charles Oakley don't have
I'm
no
gonna say
championship.
He might have scooped one up on like the Raptors when he was 49 or some shit.
I could have sworn he was on the six.
He wasn't a key part of a championship run.
I honestly don't know because when it comes to stats, man, like. That's the thing with like people who like are great in sports. Like I support them in a sense. I'll go watch the shows and shit. I'm not gonna know what your batting average is or any of that shit. I'm not gonna take it too serious because I look at stars and people are like, you're just a dude with a better job than me. Even though I'm into your shit, you know what I'm saying? But you're just a dude with a better job than me. I've only been starstruck once, and I didn't even get to see the dude, Gene Simmons.
Okay,
he was walking into my job, and I saw him walking. I was just like. He was big, and it was Gene fucking Simmons. I used to love Kiss.
What's the most famous you've ever felt in a single moment?
The most famous?
Did you play at Randall's Island for like 10,000 with the band? Like, I don't know if that's famous, but what?
I played with Ziggy Marley in front of a few thousand. I played with the most famous I ever felt doing my special here.
Word.
Playing with Ziggy and. Yeah, man, when my video came out, I guess that's when I felt the most famous, and
You're headlining at Helium. That's gonna be fucking cool.
that's
A
I mean,
club.
famous. So I'm not.
That's
People
your
think I'm
first
going
time-
for fame. I'm not going for fame.
No, I know you're not.
I'm going,
You're gonna-
it's going to be an outcome. I'm going to be famous.
The fame will follow. You're just
It's going to be an outcome. I just
well, it's
wanna,
law of attraction. You're just gonna do
Yeah.
good shit, and the fame
I
will
just
follow.
want- I just want when
it's your
people
first
say
time
I'm playing
headlining a
someplace.
club. That feels like progress. I mean, a real A club, right?
I don't know. I mean, is
And A clubs would be considered.
headlining.
Yeah.
Headlining, yes, yes, yeah, headlining, yeah.
Yeah. An A club would be like a Caroline's or a Gotham or a
No,
Helium.
I never headlined
Yeah.
Gotham. I played those places, not Well, I did play Caroline's, yeah. I played those places. I never headlined there, no.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, man. Philly.
You should probably throw the guy
Philly.
who booked you a couple extra bucks.
Y'all
for
show
that.
me love all the time, man. I'm asking you to show me love once again. Come on out, catch me.
Everyone's like, why'd you
at that
headline Gary at Helium? And I'm like, because I think he's got like 20 friends out there. That's why. If it was in fucking New Brunswick, I'd
Helium,
headline
man.
myself or Buddha.
Come out and check me at Helium, Philly. You always show me love.
When is this gonna
I'm
air?
banking on your love again.
Can we get this out in time for the March 10th? Are we dropping these right away? You don't got to edit shit. You're just dropping these, right? Oh, man. I mean, we got in a lot. Is there anything I'm missing that you would want to tell people that maybe you wish I asked, or do you want to ask me anything?
How do you live with yourself?
I don't. I live with Mike Merck.
Nah, man, I don't have much to add, man. I don't like to just throw stuff out there. I figure let people die for it. If you ask me, I'll answer it. But I'm grateful to be here, dude. I'm grateful for everything I'm doing. I'm glad to be doing comedy. I hope it opens up again because a lot of my brothers are out there struggling to do it. I feel like it's been a good thing because I feel like a lot of people who weren't 100% into it kind of fell off. So I think the comeback should be good.
I do. I think people want to laugh. I think comedy is like a human connection kind of thing that is missing. And, our shows have that, like, make you feel a little bit alive again, man. And people have been locked up on their phones. It's just like, it's just an energy that you can't get from your couch,
Yeah. You did Zoom shows, right? I didn't do no Zooms.
I did like one or two things, but not really stand
I wasn't
up.
asked.
Like roast, it's different, like written shit, but I don't know, man.
I don't get a lot of love, dude. Believe it or not. I get a lot of love from my fans. That's it.
You're
Like in New
bringing
York-
back your podcast. You're
in New
excited
York.
about that?
Yeah, but I'm gonna be starting up Rated G. I'm
G.
excited. Yeah, I like working with Brian. I think we're gonna have a good thing.
Brian gets us.
I told a couple of people they're excited, so I think it should be something cool. It's just something for me to be able to just clear my head and be able to get thoughts out of my head. So I'm excited about it. Hopefully, some material grows out of it too.
I got two more questions for you.
All right.
Can I borrow $20? You owe me 30, actually. No, that doesn't count as a question. I'm gonna get, we'll talk.
I thought I owed you more than that.
No. We're cool.
To be completely
They were only 20s. No, I'm kidding. Favorite superhero
Favorite
and
superhero.
why?
Luke Cage was my favorite superhero in Spider-Man. I liked Spider-Man because he could kind of be beat. He could be shot. There was like a humanness to him. And I like Luke Cage because he was a hero for hire. His whole thing was he was in the hood. And when people had problems, they just go to his office and be like, listen, this dude, is bullying me with that. And he'd go over there and solve their problems. It was street. I was always more into those. I was into the Falcon. I was into Power Man and Iron Fist. I was into Black Panther, but I was always more into the people of color people. I like Batman because he suffered and he can get shot. I like superheroes that can get shot. You know what I'm saying? Because then there's a way to defeat him. I don't like Superman. You're too super. In order for me,
Shoot him with kryptonite bullets.
you got to go to some fake, and it's funny because I always say you got to go to some fake fucking world to get a piece of kryptonite to bring it back. And they're like, dude, you're talking about Spider-Man. I'm like, yeah, but you can get, but you can buy bullets. You know what I'm saying? But you can buy bullets down the block. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get bullets.
Did they ever say exactly where Spider-Man lived? Like
He lives in Queens, Forest Hills.
Forest Hills.
Yeah.
So how far are you from where Spider-Man lives? How many train stops did you grow up from Spider-Man?
Well, yeah, I grew up a lot of train stops. Well, no, actually now I grew up 2 train stops on the F from Queensbridge.
Forest Hills was where
There's 2
the
stops on the
Forest
F train.
Hills Jewish Center was where I used to take the bus to my camp from. That was the only time. The Key Food's right there. I used to go down there,
Yeah,
man. Oh, man.
No liquor stores in any of those fucking Jewish neighborhoods, you bastards.
Oh, I wanted
That
to do
used to
this.
bother me.
I did this with Buddha. Hold on.
That used to bother me.
Fortune cookie. I don't know what it's going to say. We're going to crack it. I want you to crack it and just read it. I mean, the cookie's cracked, but let's see. Read it and tell us what you think about what you
Cracked
read.
out cookie.
Buddha's said, look forward to great fortune and a new lease on life.
If you believe in numbers and stuff, for the last couple of days, I've been seeing 1111, 444, 10,
444 is Willow, man. That's
444 and 10.
she was born at 444. When I looked
that
it
I'm
up,
so
the
into
name of the
it, but-
website was Willow Soul Heals. Ever tell you that? It's
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
Here we go.
Sincerity is the finest point of communication.
If you are not
that-
sure
that
that
is
we are
crazy.
tapped into some
That's
crazy
crazy.
shit.
Because one thing I always say is, I might not always be right. I might not always be the nicest or whatever, but I'm always sincere. That's one thing I always say. Like, you can't doubt the fact that I'm sincere. And that's crazy that I read that. You just bugged me out. Put that shit back in that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, the agents had nothing to do with even making this. Some fucking white kid made this shit and shoved it in there.
Can we save these 2 fortunes and post them as pictures with
Shit, I'm
these
actually-
videos?
How old are these cookies?
Not bad. That is amazing. Could you read that again? Because that was fucking insane after all this. One more time, please.
I should actually play these lucky numbers. Sincerity is the finest point of communication.
Well, we've said it. Comics tell the truth. I said there's something in that testament about, bringing light in the future. And I think you do that. And let's end with this. Speaking of the future, you're a John Lennon guy on stage. You've said something about paraphrasing, but with his life, there's hope. You try to bring that. Where do you think things are going coming out of this pandemic? If you had to kind of, people, I mean, some people are going to do stupid shit, but where do you see things going if you had to predict?
Honestly, I think just like all those other things that have come before this, it's just going to mysteriously go away. It's sort of like when you have a pain, a persistent pain, and you constantly have it. Then one day someone says to you, yo, how's your elbow? And you're like, oh shit, I didn't even notice. My elbow hasn't been hurting me for the longest. They're not going to tell you to stop wearing they're never going to come out and go, you can stop wearing the mask. What's going to happen is it's just going to go away. You're just going to stop hearing about it as much. And as you stop hearing about it, some people still wear the mask. Other people start taking it down. They'll quietly lift the whole thing, maybe. I just think it's going to go away quietly.
And what about long term? How are people going? What's the future for
people?
Us?
Are fucked. I'm only playing, man. I don't think it's any different, man. I think life will go on. People will adjust, they'll adapt. And if it turns into Armageddon and everything goes crazy, just hope you're gone in like the first batch, because those are the lucky ones. If you think about it, watch any movie that deals with like any kind of like everything going crazy, like zombies, right? Zombie apocalypse. All it shows you is that the first batch of people are the lucky ones, because after that, you're just trying to live amongst a bunch of assholes who still treat each other like shit. That even with zombies running around each other, they're still treating each other like shit. They're still beating each other with bats, fighting over fucking little sections. There's always going to be people treating each other like assholes. So
I want to make a movie about
at the end of the
zombies
day,
fighting dinosaurs.
At the end of the day, man, I think people need to learn to love. And if you do, then you're going to affect the people around you. And those people learn to love, and they'll affect the people around them. And it's a long process, man. We've been taught to hate. We've been taught to hate, and we've been taught to enjoy violence. You can show your kid someone getting beat up on TV, but God forbid a sex scene pops up on TV and you're covering their eyes, and because somehow that's dirty.
What was it? Tupac said something about I might not change the world, but I might, spark the mind that does. Right?
See, that's what I'm saying, man. People always look at importance at a different. They look at the person who changed the world, but I go, isn't the person who sparked that mind to change the world just as important? Even if they were never known, even if it was just some person that was in a candy store one day and gave you some advice, and that advice moved you so much that you changed the way you lived, and because you changed the way you live, you changed the world around you. doesn't that person in the bodega or whatever store it was that you heard that, isn't that person just as important?
Hey man, that's why it's all connected. That's why we all gotta just,
That's what I'm saying.
It really comes down to.
That's why I say I'm nothing.
Do we want to keep doing stupid shit, or do we want to just like try to be a little happier? That was why they compare you to Socrates, because he was just trying to find the happiness. When you break it all down and all the books and everything, basically Socrates was like, "Do you want to live a fucking happy life or not? Just listen to me."
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to, man.
It's a straight up choice.
And I know that.
But you don't know it. You don't get it. This and that, man.
Listen. Some people go through some tough shit, but some people fucking have no legs and run marathons, and other people have everything, and
then get that fucking award taken from them because they said they had an unfair advantage.
I mean, G does a whole bit about the Paralympics if you want to look into it and look into all his other things. This was, I hope I lived up to the challenge, because I've been looking forward to doing this for a while, and it's a fucking thing I hope we could look back on and listen to again down the line and appreciate. And
I think one or two good things tonight, right?
I think, yeah, man, listen, I think it's voices like yours and some of the other people we spoke to that could just basically lead to a better time. And ultimately you're a rock star, and that's what you want. You just want people to fucking party and bullshit and enjoy life and rock, right?
Yeah. At the same time, though, like in my as far as comedy goes, man, I really want to get so much deeper. I really do. It's scary how deep I want to get. Like I really want to just get so much deeper. It's hard to say exactly what I mean, but I just wanna. I want to be more than what I've been doing.
You're going to go down that rabbit hole, and no one's going to be able to dig deeper than you, man. We're going to try to get you as much time to get there.
I know, man. You already, like I said, man, I used to struggle for 7 minutes 3 times a week. Now, right when I got out here, it was 15 minutes.
Yeah, man.
15 fucking minutes.
You're already changing a game changer up there, and I think everyone knows that the longer you have, the deeper you will go, and I'm excited to watch it go as far as you can push it. You're extreme talent and a great friend.
Even if my heart stops and I don't change the sound of comedy the way I vision it, I feel like I'm gonna change the way people do comedy. I feel like I'm doing it already, to be honest.
Anytime a true original comes around, that's what they do, you know.
But I don't think what I do is original either, to be honest. I just think it's everything goes in a circle. I feel it's needed, not necessarily original, but needed.
Well, you're not putting on a show.
Everything's been done before, so
you're just being true to yourself, and that's always original. That's always original.
Was that Buddha's? Look forward to great fortune and a new lease on life. Yeah, man. That's what I've been telling fucking Buddha, man. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
This shit is freaking me out, man.
I got one more here, I think. Do I?
That shit is freaking me out.
One more? Nah,
that's it, man. That shit is freaking me out right there. But that's why I try to tell Bull all the time.
Well,
God bless you, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
This was a hell of an experience, and
I feel very mellow. I hope it wasn't boring, but I feel very mellowed out. But I hope it wasn't boring.
I don't think that shit was boring at all. I think that's about it, man. G always likes to sign off and say some deep shit about just enjoying your life and live it like it might be your last. And with that said,
he didn't even touch about divorce. He didn't touch on none of that. He's like, we're gonna get into deep stuff, man. We have
a minute on divorce.
Did we talk about divorce? I don't know. Not that I want. I'm just saying. I think everyone should do it once.
Let's talk about sponges and coral at the bottom of the ocean. That's pretty deep, right?
Ask you one question real quick.
Oh, boy.
Just one question.
Brian, are we at a camera?
Nah, you could just end it.
We're at a film, right? We're at a film?
It doesn't matter. You could just end it. But real quick question, though.
Yeah, man.
Did you find yourself having to break habits? Like, in other words, you were like, when I left, I was institutionalized. I was still calling my ex-wife up, like when I was headed home after a gig. I would call home and she'd be like, "What?" And I'm like, "No,
you had a hangover to the whole thing.
Just wanted to let you know I'm, heading home."
She'd
be like, "What the fuck are you calling me for?" And I'm be like, "Cause that's what I'm used to doing. That's what I'm used to doing."
Yeah.
It's crazy. You have to break those habits. Like, you're institutionalized, man.
Yeah, you gotta.
You
gotta rewire yourself.
Yeah.
When you say institutionalized, it makes me think of Shawshank Redemption, where they bust out and have their moment when they crawl through the shit and the mud. And look, man, it's kind of a little bit of a metaphor for what we've been doing. And eventually,
that's what I was. I remember that was the hardest thing about the divorce was not checking on her, not calling her to tell her what I was doing, not, you know what I'm saying? Because I was so used to doing that for 25 fucking years. I always called them on my way home. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, you know. But I don't miss it. I love being free.
It was a time in your life, and it led to who you are now.
It was a great time in my life, man. I got a lot out of that. You know, there's not a lot I got to show for a lot of other things. I designed clothes for 20 years. No one's going to remember any of the items I designed. But the kids, you know, they go on, hopefully, to do great things. Or to spark the mind that does great things.
They say you live, you learn, and it sounds cliche, but nobody tries to learn more as they go along the way than my man Gary G Garcia here tonight. And you inspire me and a lot of others around you. And I would say that not only do I see you as a great friend to me, but I think you're ultimately going to be a great friend to the whole world. And I love you, and that's all I got to say. You got the light. Got to get off. It's over.
All right, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.